it's a different ball game. I think there are different things that Wolves can leverage now. Operator ban-wise, I'm curious to see if they'll follow that same trend of the stable operator bans, or maybe a bit of a target and castle that we saw in Chalet, or if we're going to see something new come out of these teams for this matchup, because these two teams, they know each other quite well.
Well, fearing the information that comes from Yana, we've already got one operator banned differentiating from map number 1. It was Nook and Twitch that were banned out in map 1, and this time around it's going to be Yana and Dokkaebi. So completely different attacking operators. A Yana and a Doke removed from play on Clubhouse.
Yeah, I was going to say on Clubhouse. Not a Hot Breacher ban that we typically see. No Thatcher either. So we're going to see, I mean, the big thing here, key giveaway here, right, is that we're going to be losing a whole set of grenades from the attacking lineup. You're only going to get one set now, with Sledge that is, unless you play the Nook or you go flex onto a Glass, for example, etc. And that's just going to change things up a little bit, where we don't often see Nick on Clubhouse because it's not like a big map where you can kind of escape around and sneak your way into the bomb sites necessarily as much as, like, let's say, Bank. So curious to see what secondary grenade operator the attackers will bring from both sides, or if they're just going to stick with a single grenade operator, or as Wolves are showing us, none possibly as well.
Is that WWE background? Is that the Becky Lynch background that says "I am the man"?
I actually was thinking the same thing, but I don't know for sure.
Because Becky Lynch is the man. I know that Caliber Jacob was overjoyed at the WWE tie-in with The Undertaker and Becky Lynch. Undertaker obviously being Blackbeard, Becky Lynch obviously Big Thorn, but I gotta say, I was quite a fan as well, and I'm glad to see teams doing that. But of course, they both have their own custom operator backgrounds too for their teams. I think it's 40% off. Right
yes,
now.
I believe all esports skins on bundles,
40% off.
And I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's the first ever actual sale as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't remember.
It's the biggest one, I know that for a fact at least, the 40% mark that is.
I think it is the highest, yes. That's
so go cop your skins here, buddy. Something like that.
All right, Clubhouse. Wolves will start on attack. On defense, MNM, and they will run with the Solus themselves. Saw the newest operator added to the game, played by Wolves a number of times on Chalet, but never really is as successful as we would have hoped. Nathan is bringing the ITA shotgun instead of the P90. So imagine Solus is going to play on this basement defense, very similarly to what we see out of a smoke, likely holding somewhere towards the stairs, somewhere towards church, in all of those angles that can be covered by a shotgun at relatively close range. Wolves have already breached the top floor. They will clear from the top down, but it doesn't look like there is an extensive roam from MNM. Mowgli is up there. He gets droned out. Solotov not too far away, but still what appears to be two bodies down in the actual basement and one playing on the middle floor. Rise off to a good start immediately. 1 minute into this round, 1 minute into this map, has tied his kill total from the entire first map. He picks off MNM. Now down goes Uzis. Tyrant will follow. Oh my.
Oh, it's over.
Hello in a 1v5 with 1 minute and 40 seconds to go. Now this is a bit of a change. 4 flawless rounds for MNM on Chalet. Wolves might have their own too. They will come face to face with a shotgun barrel at the bottom of main stairs. Plenty of time for them to be able to open up hatches, floors, gain information. And it looks like Wolves are just going to go in through the other side of the bomb site. Nello contending with one. No way he's able to get a single target. Wolves, a flawless start to their map. They've screwed their head on right. And they're starting off similar to what we saw in map 1.
I mean, that is the best possible way to start this off, because for Wolves going to map number 2 of Clubhouse, it's all about the mental game, right? Getting back into it, gaining confidence, and having a bit of fun. And we can see right now from the player cam, they are indeed having a fair bit of fun just off that single round where, let's say, they end up losing that round in the flawless in reverse. That's going to be sad faces, maybe a bit of quietness, etc. And that can be really hard to bounce back from, where MNM, they have the momentum going to Clubhouse. They're feeling good, they're feeling confident. You saw it, Solotov shot down and lost his opening gunfight against Rise, and it was full speed ahead the moment that kill went through. There's really good aggression and confidence shown by Wolves, despite having a bad Chalet game.
For those of you who are just tuning in, This is Group B. You might wonder who else is in this group.
Oh.
Well, the team that has the day off, as far as I'm aware, is Direwolves. They have a bye today. Team Liquid and Sonics are facing each other over on our sister channel, twitch.tv/Rainbow6Bravo. If you're re-watching this, and the VOD should be up shortly after the conclusion of this matchup due to the staggered start times of the two streams. They are still on map 1. They are quite a ways behind us. I think it's like 15 to 20 minutes behind, give or take, which can amount from anywhere from 3 to 5 rounds, depending on how teams play and depending on how quick the rounds go by. But we're not going to spoil the ongoing scoreline for you, but just know that it's still in map 1, and it's a close game between Liquid and Sonics. And if you're curious, this is the Sonics team that benched Kansan and picked up Citizen, bringing him over as he Brexited the UK and came to he came to the North American shores. So if you want a first look at that team, you're welcome to. At international competition, you're more than welcome to do that.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how Sonics will progress through this tournament, because I do like seeing Citizen back on a different team, or a new team rather, should I say. MNM, however, they're just holding on. You see 0 roam game towards Master Bedroom, only a minute and 10 to the round, and they're just waiting patiently for something to happen. And Mowgli might have pinched a member here. Whether he knows that or not, we'll find out. Once this drone crosses this doorway, they'll know the whereabouts of Nath, and that could be a free pick for Wolves. Or not.
It's one of the slower rounds that we've seen in the matchup between these two teams so far. Usually action comes fast and furious. For legal purposes, that is not a reference to the movie franchise of the same title. Wolves in hot pursuit. Well, it might not be a basement defense, but they understand that at least one player lies down there, and Rise hunting ghosts. Solotov wastes as much time as is humanly possible. 1 minute left. MNM still defending this top floor. They've allowed Wolves free range on the main floor, and the explosives will go off to try and displace those defenders playing in tricky positions.
I like this from Solotov, you know, because he's the Solus, he can keep on flanking main stairs, always knowing there's a drone on him or not. Always going to be a threat. That means the Wolves are on a timer right now. If they wait too long, they will get flanked. They have only 2 drones left. Make that 1. They have to act in the next 20 minutes.
But they can't get in through the breach.
Gosh.
Mowgli, the very first kill, answered back by Nathan. P4 down for the P4 takes down Nella. He's down for the count. Rise goes down as well. Both these teams trading blows, 3-3, staying power from MNM, as there's a Doc still on the board and all 3 stim pistols still there to bring him back to life. Meanwhile, Shinka's in the middle of the bomb site, both bomb sites in fact. He's got diffuser in hand, but doesn't seem to be comfortable as to where he wants to plant. Final 10 seconds. We are about to hit the point of no return for Shinka, as now he loses another member of his team. He'll engage instead, 5 seconds left. Diffuser in hand, down goes at what could have been an impact, and it's Solotov to finish the deal. The timer would have given them the win, even though they got all the kills at the last second. Either way, MNM persevere, and just like in map number 1, second round goes in favor of MNM, and it's a tie game.
Could be a familiar story being showcased here, and that particular round that we just saw, it really explains the strengths of an real life, like Solotov was playing on the Solids rather. You're playing basement, you can flank the main stairs, kill 3-4 flank drones at various times, then you run down all the way through basement, come up the blue stairs, kill another flank, get a kill, and now because Solids has cleared down the stock area below the bomb site, you can now deny anybody from planting in most positions on the cache bomb site itself. That's why you saw Wolves kind of struggle with where do we plant. Shinka running back and forth. He recognized he has to plant on the green box table itself, because otherwise Solids with the impact grenade will take him out immediately. But the issue is Wolves never cleared out the dock on the catwalk rafters of Garage, so because the wall is open between the bomb sites, if you plant on the green table, you can get seen from Garage. So there's no safety net whatsoever for Wolves, and a bit of a missed opportunity for them to really capture that round. It was a great punish by, well, we can argue, the star player of this best of 3 so far in Solotov. Really finding value time and time again. Playing an active Solis as well is something that I think that every team should look towards.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because while it is low-hanging fruit to look at the kills that somebody has, He also wasted how much time in that previous round and
So
consistently lives in the back of the minds of Wolves. And when it's a 3v3, and one of those 3 that you're facing off against is somewhere on the map, you have no idea, there's 15 seconds left. Wolves have to pull off a plant in 15 seconds with no dedicated flank watch because somebody has to be watching the diffuser go down. And then there's 2 other players on MNM who can do some serious damage to you. Solotov has not just wasted time, but also put Wolves in a very tough position. And that's something that doesn't show up on a scoreboard, but it's still something that is huge value for the team.
And it's the same way we saw in the very first round. I think it was Nave playing the Solis. He was playing very passive on the main stairs, kind of telling MNM where the drones were coming from on the attack, but couldn't do anything about it. When Solotov plays the Solids, he is actively where the drones are coming from to shut them down immediately and then run away. And it's always, killing one drone, fall back one room. And because you have such precise information as Solis, you should be in the front of the round to utilize that as early as possible. It's another slow round for Wolves. They're betting against the kite close here from Nave. Now, they do have Thatch available. We have to double EMP each hatch. And if you don't, you're gonna get tricked. And if you don't use any, you're also gonna...
Oh.
That was too close. That was way too close.
Nate was off by 1 millisecond, losing the Electric Claw and also losing the hatch in the process. P4 tastefully applying those X-Kairos charges, and only 2 of them go off. There go yet 2 more, but the Electric Claw actually works this time. A look of confusion will be on his face. The EMP goes off, the 2 X-Kairos go in. That should be more than enough, and barring a Nitro Cell below Rise, that's full kitchen control for Wolves with just under a minute to go.
Pace-wise or pacing-wise, it's not the worst, situation. With 45 seconds, you can execute, but you have to act fast. Wolves are looking to do just that.
Look at the hatch, Rise fishing for kills, diffuser going down. Nathan needs to throw that Nitro Cell. Shinka in the midst of the toxic gas, just breathing it all in. Almost all of his HP gone, and instead he'll engage with the Kiba barrier and the Azami of Tyrant playing behind him. All 10 players still up, but they will start to drop. Shinka, the first casualty. P4 follows. Rise on the hatch. He'll need to drop now to retrieve the diffuser, and he manages to do so successfully. But his team is being winnowed down. Uses the first one from MNM to die, but now it's Mowgli in a 1v4, and he just doesn't have enough bullets. MNM stitched 2 together to take the lead on Clubhouse.
Typically, that exact attack from Wolves would actually work out in favor of the attackers, but one small thing is different now than what it was like 8 months ago or 12 months ago. Asami changes every single thing you know about Rainbow Six Siege fundamentally as you know it. If Asami doesn't have the keeper barriers on the AK's position where she was playing, well, that entire round could be over for the attackers. You get down that plant successfully because the Toxic Babe was only hitting the default position. The C4 can't reach deep into the bomb site because the C4 member is playing third box, which is so far away, you can't reach. That means that if the keeper barriers couldn't keep the members of MNM alive in that crucial AK's position, Shinka can comfortably start establishing a plant because there's no cover for them to swing with. But Asami is an operator. Nello was holding on to those keeper barriers and it allowed his team to therefore swing out aggressively and establish a counter, execute rather, on towards Wolves. It's looking good for them. And again, the grenade utility is so scarce. And for pretty much every single of these rounds so far, Wolves are running 0 grenades because of that Iana ban. Normally it's Mowgli, who typically plays Iana for the side of Wolves. He's on Ash duty pretty much every single round so far. And sure, you do have soft breach destruction, but the ass breaches are not going to get you kills. They're not going to shut down vital positions, but they can take out utility. So you can achieve a similar goal, but not the exact one that you might be looking for.
Exothermic charge going off quickly. A new bomb site for the defense of MNM, likely because Cash and Church have been locked down. Not uncommon on this map to see a bar stage defense on the first floor. Maybe not as common in EU as it does tend to be in North America, maybe, question mark, but up to Jim they will go. This is often known as the tertiary bomb site, the one that teams like to go to the least, as it, in terms of historical win rate, does skew towards the attackers. And, well, it's a problem with that first Selma. Does not go off successfully, but windows get opened up. That one might have actually been shot. First kill goes to MNM. Mowgli down. P4 now down as well. The young guns that were picked up by Wolves are just not finding their stride in this matchup. Mowgli continues to perform, but that's about it. Nice shot from Bibu. Numbers not equalized, but getting a little bit closer as MNM now loses their first.
Yeah, can argue a bit of a questionable swing there from Solotov, because that is arguably not when you want to, apply pressure onto your opponents, because that's a really stable foundation. Losing one member is not the end of the world, of course. It's still a 3 versus 4 in favor of MNM. But things are slowly progressing now for Wolves because they're struggling to find openings. So if MNM are giving it to them, that might just be what they need to find success in one of these upcoming rounds, or perhaps in this one in particular.
Sorry, didn't Frost get nerfed?
Technically?
And yet we still see Frost's fragging out. Isn't that crazy?
Almost like her
really makes you think. Down goes Nello. The zombie no more, but with a minute left, most keep a barrier should be there. And out Tyrant now in a rough spot. Wolves have clawed this one back, and Rise is just in. Hello! There's another player right there as he uses. He didn't expect there to be two of them. Instead, now uses has multiple targets, but it's a secondary shotgun, one of whom is down. It's the ace. It's Bibu in a 1v2. Not really retrievable. He got splattered by Usis with the side shotgun. We spoke of the Frost, and boy, the Frost did ever appear. 3 in a row for MNM now. It was a confident start. Clubhouse by Wolves, but that confidence seems to have evaporated.
Yeah, and that's even with Solotov peeking aggressively, handing that kill to Bibu for free early in the round, so it could have been even more in favor of MNM, rather having one more member alive for that late round stage. I mean, I will say, Nave rotating downstairs with that C4, basically saving uses on the Frost, beautifully executed with information regarding the timing of when to pop that C4 itself. And I mean, Frost sure did arguably get a little bit of a nerf, but still gets that deploy those shields, still get those Frost mats, which statistically, I think this is a couple of years back now, but the official Rainbow Six Twitter account, they made a blog post about the efficiency of certain operators. And funny enough, Frost's success rate with like how often enemies end up in her trap was actually higher the higher rank you went into. So if you're a Diamond player, you have a higher chance of running into a Frost trap than if you're a Silver player, for example. And if we were to apply that logic all the way up the ladder, then Pro League would be where she is the most successful. And you'd always say, but how do Pro players get hit by traps, Capcom traps, Legion mines, and Frost traps? There's a lot happening in these rounds, right? Whether you're playing ranked, casual, or Pro League, there's people communicating, drawing information, you're nervous, sounds, etc. It is very easy to miss one very tiny detail, and that tiny detail might just get you killed.
Hold on a second here, Nick. Solotov is in the meat locker down below.
He's cooking.
Food spoiled, unfortunately. Oh, Rise will come back. Solotov might be able to see this on his gadget, and he gets spotted inside a kitchen, a tough spot, but impacts will allow him safe passage out. He hits the hatch, and he's down into the basement. Again, Rise and Solotov will do the dance down on the beach. As Solotov, who wasted so much time last time around.
Yeah, I mean, you see it again, right? He gets one drone, pops the hatch, drops down, and just keeps on, keeping Wolves guessing. Where is this man? Where is he gonna flank? And now he can come up any staircase, and because he's Solace, he can see all the drones, if there are any active, shut them down, or just kind of slither on through unseen, undetected. C4 misses, nice try.
It was a good read. I mean, there were two players, Wolves out there, but with the double windows open, it might have just been a missed opportunity, or a missed call based on sound.
Now, the issue for Wolves now is going to be around the bandit trick of Nello. They do have EMPs, and of course, Ash verticality with the Buck 2. So it's a bit of a dance now. Nello has to choose between the double wall of CCTV main breach and the single wall of construction. Right now, it sounds like something's getting opened up. I'm not sure that's garage, it's construction being attempted, I can't quite tell. But something is being opened up. It is construction. Okay, there we go. So Nello is just gonna sacrifice that area of the map and not care, just stick to his double breach instead. That's where their priority lies.
And Nello died in that position last time around, but the one thing that was a bit of a saving grace for MNM was that Selmas didn't work as effectively as they wanted. There was that thin line that prevented them from getting out. Nello in the old-fashioned bandit trick. It will work, and he fights from the same position. Bibu takes down Solotov. First pick goes in favor of Wolves, but it's answered back quickly. Uses with one. Mowgli, yet another MNM and Wolves coming to blows very fast, and they are trading out. To a 3v3 we go. Tyrant in this position has 2 targets lined up. Lets one go right through his fingers, and the last 2 remaining of Wolves are inside of cash. Nello narrows the number down to 1, and it was Rise involved in what could have been the first altercation, down by Kitchen as the last man standing of Wolves. Both Nathan and Nello so low on HP that Rise could very easily pull this one off, but there's still those stim pistols in the pocket of Tyrant. And he takes matters into his own hands, gets the trade, and it's 4 in a row for MNM. They are just blitzing their way through this matchup.
It's crazy to think that Wolves started off with a flawless victory of a basement roam clear attack, and they looked so dominant in that opening round. And then nothing has looked anything remotely similar as to that in the following 4. I mean, we're making small mistakes here. I keep saying we. Wolves keep making small mistakes, right?
I need to remind everybody that you do not.
I do not play for Wolves.
Do not actively play for any team.
That's also true. I do not actively play for any team. You know, in the previous round, it's the CCTV breach. They try and open the soft wall between the bomb sites, and they assume that there's no way Nello is trying to bandage it because he's going to die if he does. So they kind of sloppily assume that, and what happens? Nello does actually successfully bandage trick the wall. They don't get the breach open up. The round kind of falls apart. Nobody went below. No one contested garage. Garage itself was not breached open for a late flank either. So the catwalk player that is Doc, I believe that's Tyrant in that round, can just hold the walk in, use his Doc stim pistols if he wanted to. He did keep all 3 in the pocket, and MNM have a stable ground to work with, right? Wolves aren't really making it difficult for MNM to problem solve these things. If Solotov had stayed alive in that round as Solis, they also had Plant and Eye from below. They did successfully deal with that problem, but 2 more arise in the presence of that disappearing, and Wolves, once again, they come out the loser.
No timeout's been taken so far. Wolves will likely do what they did in map number 1, just wait for the first half to subside. And then when we go into the second half, that's when you will call the timeout. And I mean, there's obviously strategy here. Liloon is an experienced coach. You've also got Helby backing her up as an analyst and secondary coach, and also looks great in a pair of leggings. But that's neither here nor there when it comes to coaching, or maybe it does. Maybe it provides the confidence that his team needs when they can see him wearing those, though those team secret days are long gone.
They are long gone, yeah.
Either way, Liloon does not call the timeout and we'll wait till the second half. Now, if you are in this position, let's say you're a coach, I don't know, let's call you Fabian.
Okay.
If you were in this position,
yeah,
would you call a timeout now, or would you do what it seems like Wolves would do, which is wait until the second half?
I'll wait till the second half because you can take a timeout now, talk about your next 1 attacking round, and the problems that you've already attacked before, which, you know, did work out once, didn't work out the second, and just really talk about your defenses when you get there, right? Because Clubhouse also is a strategical map itself, you can choose different ways to defend, aggressively, passively, work around the EMP economy because Thatcher's open. Also, with Diana being banned out, maybe talk about what do you expect MNM to do when you swap sides, because you have many more rounds to work with once that side swap comes out. You only have 1 more attacking round. And they have changed things up. Wolves are playing both Nuke and they're playing Ying, more execute operators in the Ying, and of course the frag grenades on Mowgli, which they have been missing in the previous 5 rounds. It's a different look, and it can be the difference maker.
It's assessing exactly where everybody is currently laid out.
It's a quiet round, but it's going to get very noisy very soon because EMPs combined with Ying Candelas means they will go through guaranteed.
First bit of damage being done to Mowgli, the Nook, attempting to get in without MNM catching it. Does not work. Now it's Rise to take some damage. Candelas go in. It's a trade to start things off. P4 walks in with all the confidence in the world, but it's misplaced as MNM just pushes out Wolves, leaving Mowgli to die. He was the last man left, and then he wasn't at all. First half, MNM 5-1 on Wolves map.
Impressive.
Exact same position that you want to be in as you were on the previous map, except MNM's doing it a single round faster.
You're improving so quickly. Again, small...
He'll be back.
He'll be back.
And in greater numbers.
again, it's small mistakes and most, right? I mean, we can look at what happened to execute there. EMPs goes out, denies ADSs, great play from Ying. But Ying, which I believe was P4 in that round, also died with 2 smoke grenades in pocket. And Ying got taken out from the B bomb side chassis, from the opposite bomb side of the entry point itself, because there's no line of sight being denied. If one of those 2 smoke grenades had been spent in that particular area, that grants Ying a free, and everybody else for that matter, a free entry to the bomb site. And then you can utilize these cadellas who are blinding the members that are close to you. So the smoke denies the far players, the blind denies the close players. You now have a stable entry point. The second reason why that's so important is because the main breach of church wasn't opened up. You had to go through Moto door and just fight your way through it. And, well, if Ying gets shut down and nobody else can see because of the candelas, no one can follow up on that play, and it all just fell apart. Now Wolves, they're starting basement, no technical timeout taken yet, so they pretty much have to win this round to have any value in their tag timeout, because otherwise it's, it's overtime at best for them.
Now, the one thing that does, I suppose, give some confidence to fans of Wolves is that the first bloods and entry kills have been relatively split down the middle for these teams. A lot of trades coming in, and there have not been the same stumbles for Wolves the moment that a round begins. Now, it's the mid to late round that has been the single biggest issue for Wolves, and you witnessed it in the previous round too. MNM suddenly gets 3 kills before you can even finish blinking. That's not the position that you want to find yourself in. 5-1, first half, Church, Cash, and Jim, the 3 bomb sites that were played. Church played 3 times, Cash twice, Jim once. And it's been MNM for 5 rounds in a row, and Solotov walks right in, and he sends Mowgli to the afterlife. Proximity alarm be damned, cams be damned. That's a pretty strong entry for MNM.
It is, and oh, that's a nice one tap, a little bit of punch, one shot goes out, Nate gets taken down, but Usis follows up with a trade.
Shows you how much damage that DMR does, as it almost kills Usis, takes out over half of his HP with a single shot. Diffuser retrieved now for MNM, as there's 2 DMRs in play, well 1. You saw it on defense.
I mean, P4 could be the hero this round. He has gone unnoticed inside of the club and can flank at any moment. And with 1 minute and 20 seconds to work with, I mean, Shinga and Bibos has to relax on the bomb site, not take any risk, because if one member falls, the bomb site cannot be covered. P4 has to get at least 1 kill on the flank, preferably 2, create some chaos, and then they can capitalize off that momentum.
It's crazy, right? Because there's P4 on this late lurk.
Yeah.
You walked in. They should have cleared Clubhouse. They did not.
Ooh.
Evade the drone. It was looking the wrong. I was looking at him the whole time, but you never saw the lights go up. There's 3 bodies present inside of Bar. P4 could catch them quite easily. The only thing working against him is the gun. His hand is not the most reliable from multiple engagements. Slow fire rate, pitter-patter of the UMP. MNM have gotten out of there, though. So the opportunity for P4 might now be lost.
Oh. I mean, if he finds Kitchen, he has hatch control, can deny most plant positions, and he's done that. This could be huge.
Are they going to try to come back? Yeah, there go the smokes. Tyrant posted up in a position to cut them down. Shinka taking some damage. Your eyes will need to be on P4. He will be the difference maker for this round, and if Wolves want to win, you need something big out of him, especially since he's losing all of his teammates. But there's P4 from above. He can't buy a kill. He needs to go for the drop, and he can't even do that. Series point for MNM as they've won 6 rounds in a row.
They got what they wanted, right? The late flank worked out, baiting the strip position worked out beautifully in favor of Wolves. They even got a 1-for-1 trade, which is like the best case scenario for them. They get Kitchen, Hatch, retake control. They know there's going to be at least 1, if not 2 members inside a dirt tunnel because they were previously on the hatch. And P4 right here, that was the diffuser carry of uses on the line. Had half HP when the round started with that gunfight, had 1 HP after the whiffs, and then you get shut down. There's like 7 seconds left on the clock. If you take down Uses and Nello behind them, the round might just be over and Wolves get their 2nd round, but instead, it's 1-6. And a bit of a mental disaster, I can imagine, from the side of Wolves, but in particular Shinga. Right? He did not manage to get a single kill in the previous round, and we talk about how numbers they don't tell the full story. It's also a matter of like he plays support, the round is often over before he really gets to get into the building, etc. But if you get 0 kills on the first map, and you're 0-6 on the 2nd map, that is a very tough situation to be in as any player.
5 seconds remaining.
0 kills for Shinka so far.
Heading out to the
Might be one of the worst performances that we have seen in a best of 3 by a player in recent memory. You know what? My brain is so full from all of the Rainbow Six weird little anecdotes that we've learned over the years.
Right.
I cannot recall the last time that in a best of 3 at an international event, somebody has dropped 0 kills for both or all 3 maps. And I know that that data's out there somewhere. I also know that the data is out there somewhere, depending on how you pronounce it. See, I like to play both sides of the equation, so I always come out on top. But
You are right, though, and I had the same thought. I was like, I feel like this happened somewhat recent, but
I think it might have been
international.
Sandbox. I think somebody on Sandbox might have got 0 kills.
That sounds, yeah.
I think somebody on Sandbox in a recent event dropped 0 kills for a best of 3, but I don't want to speak with the most confidence on that. And frankly, it's such an unlikely thing to happen that it's not a stat that I actively track or actively keep in the back of my mind, either way.
Yeah.
I know that the spotlight on Shinka is going to be quite bright, but it's not just him. This is a team failing.
Absolutely.
We also gave some credibility to Shinka, saying, you know, you play on those support roles. You're not necessarily tasked with getting all of the kills. Solotov walks right in. Bibu decides to re-engage, doesn't know where the Nook is, and MNM find their very first pick. What could be en route to a 2-0.
I mean, look at this. Solotov plays Solace on defense himself. He goes undetected, you know, nobody bothers him. Then he plays a Nuke against the Solace. He says, I'm gonna go basement and just hunt down this operator because I know that if he goes uncontested, he'll be an issue on the flank, on the you know, when we're trying to plant lead around for verticality, etc., and shut down so many of our drones. Solotov plays the operator and then perfectly shuts it down. Now, he did have a teammate join him in, so it's a team effort again, but MNM, they have such a good read on how to play a certain style of siege, but also how to combat it when that round flips on its head. And that's why right now, they are just one step ahead of Wolves, and they're just gonna storm down the bombs at any second, and Solotov's gonna lead the charge.
Oh, and this one is all but over with the crying if they can get a couple picks here, but Wolves are answering right back. They've read into this M&M attack, and they've stopped them in their tracks. But Solotov and Tyrant have sustained serious damage. Solotov knows there's one to his left, but instead switches on over. And after sacrificing Bibu, but now Shinka as well, Solotov tries his best, but can't get it done. Wolves showing some signs of life as they quite literally fight for their lives here in this matchup.
Great start, and then things just went off really quickly. And Wolves, I will say, there are some scenarios that I think they are one of the best teams in the world at, and it's when they're rushing a bomb site on attack. They just have a really good understanding of where to go and how to get there, and also stopping a rush from happening against them, as we saw in this round. They're playing in all the important positions, right? Bathroom player, office hatch being covered. The only opening that they gave to MNM was the main stairs, but no one really exposed themselves to that area of the map. Therefore, no value was really lost for them either. So Wolves do have a really good understanding when it comes to a particular element, but I don't think MNM is going to be rushing the next 4 rounds in a row and just give Wolves overtime or something. MNM, they have these rounds they can say, let's try this, let's have fun with that, let's just kind of do something else and see if it works. Not for practice purposes, because it's not the place to do such thing, but because you have the freedom in terms of round leverage to just take risks sometimes. And that previous round, I'd argue, they did not need to rush in a 5 versus 4 lead, but they could because they've built such a big lead they can afford to.
The problem with that is what happens after that, right? I feel like a lot of teams can kind of get to that fork in the road where it's like, hey, let's keep the ship steady and just sail a course that we're on and we're going to win.
Yeah.
And there's other times where it's like, you know what, these guys suck, let's blow them out of the water. And you just decide to spawn peek them, as is exactly what we saw at MNM when they were in this same situation on the previous map of Chalet.
Yeah.
And MNM says, let's go for broke, let's get into the bomb site, let's pull our brains out of our skulls, slam them on the desk, it's going to be great fun. Give the people at home something to watch.
True.
But that can turn the tide very quickly. And we've seen teams blow leads because they've gotten really cute when the match is on the line. Now, all that said, the stat that we were tracking has been blown up because Shinka has gotten a kill. So the series will not end with Shinka failing to get on the scoreboard. I'll see if MNM are able to regain their footing. And Shinka was in this very similar spot. We'll be looking for a second kill, playing down in dirt, the soft walls, and the shotgun in the hands of the Goyo functions very similarly to a DMR.
Oh, certainly.
Uh-oh. Does he see anything?
Not a thing. Oh.
He might get it. Still in that position. There you go. Shinka collects kill number 2 on to Nathan, but just like that, MNM sweeping through the rest of Wolves. You know that Shinka is playing inside of dirt. You know he needs to get back to the bomb site. By your numbers, you don't need to be a mathematician to know. Leaves Bibu all alone. Shinka gets back quickly, though. There's a late setup for what will be a heavy execute from MNM with 4 of their operators still on the board. They're down their primary hard breach, I was gonna say, but I mean, you got 2 others
like
with
all
you.
of them.
You've got 4 hard breach for MNM. You've just lost Hibana to open up those hatches, but guess what? You got Ace with a Selma charge still in pocket, 2 can openers from Tyrant, that secondary hard breach gadget. And goodness knows how many Nello still has as he's on drones right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would say for Wolves, though, you have 2 C4s that could get you a kill each, leading back to a 2 versus 2, and time is ticking down. You know, Shinka is on the go. Those canisters will be available to just deny entry points and do damage towards MNM. So time is definitely something that can be played around here. 1 C4 goes out, doesn't net any value, really. No damage being done. Bibu still has his in pocket. MNM with 25 seconds left. They have to push this go button relatively soon.
Nello's got that exothermic, still 1 more to go. You've got 15 seconds left on the clock, so only the kitchen hatch will be opened up. MNM cannot afford to be a bit too late on this one. Tucked into the corner on pulse spot. 1 player from Wolves, but now Church is as free as the day is long. Shinka engaging, but there's too many guns looking in his direction. MNM pulverize Wolves with the same scoreline that we are used to seeing. It was a 7-3 on their map of Chalet, and then they upset Wolves on Wolves' map of Clubhouse, 7-2.
Impressive performance, I will say. And they did it on 2 very different maps as well, because the way you play Chalet and play Clubhouse is not the same whatsoever, and they showed both playstyles successfully today. And I will say, Solotov really understand the range of Solis and how to play against her made a big difference on both maps, gaining so much value and just having that slight edge overall. So they did not really play the operator to the best of the ability that they can do.
Hot start for MNM, and this was some internal chatter that went on amongst all of the talent as to what the